The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs and professionals achieve their goals and aspirations by sharing a wealth of knowledge to you, our community of achievers. This podcast features best-selling industry resources, interviews, and the professional panel discussion by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions. Boom. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. It's been a hot minute, but I'm your host, John Kovacs Jr., president of Amplified Minds, founder of the Champion Circle Membership Association. That's a networking group. And today, also podcast host of the Circle of Knowledge podcast, I get to have the honor and privilege of highlighting one of my good friends. This is a really cool experience for me. And it's also a really cool experience for you listeners to get to know this gentleman and this incredible mission that they're on, and also some of the messaging that they have to provide and the knowledge that they can share with you. So on today's episode, I'm going to highlight none other than Mr. Chip Eisley. Chip Eisley in the house, everybody. Look at that sexy man. Chip, how are you? And thanks for coming to the show. I know it's been a long time coming, and it is all my fault, but but we're glad to finally have you on the air.
We're glad to we made it today. I'm excited. I love working with you, John. I love this opportunity. Let's do this thing.
So cool. Okay, and I told you beforehand backstage, and now I'm going to tell everyone online. I love beginning these interviews because not only do I have the opportunity to highlight and to show off and to brag and boast about my really cool friend here, I also get to tell about how we met. And I think that's always the fun, icebreaker party story. How did you two meet? And I love that because Chip and I met at the Speaking Seriously Speakers Competition back in November. That was when we officially met. And I believe if you check back on Facebook, I believe we were actually Facebook friends because of Julie May and Robin Scott and a few other people prior to meeting in person. But I believe we were actually Facebook friends before, but that was just kind of like except this guy looks awesome, let's do it. But met him in person, and this guy comes over to me, and he grabs my shoulder, and this is a key point to it, because he grabs my shoulder, and he's very, very strong. He's got these really awesome, strong, like hands of a lumberjack. He's got these really, really strong hands, and he grabs me and shakes me a little bit, and he says, "Hey, you were late." And I said, "Yeah," and I tried to come up with some excuse, and he goes, "I'm glad you're here, though." And he was so excited because we were all going to be doing this speaking competition, and I had missed a few of the meetings, and he was killing it up on stage. But little did I know that not only did we have this really cool interaction, he got to know me, I got to know him, we chatted, he was super personable with that really nice smile, and then right after we're chatting, he meanders his way up to the front of the room, and guess what? He's the next speaker on stage. He is so good at just holding a crowd, holding his emotions in, and doing so well at being himself that he just walks right up after this nice teasing moment and gets up on stage and gives his hour workshop. And it was so cool. So that's the story about how I met Chip. And I love this part too, because it's like, well, okay, that's an interesting story. How do you feel like your story is? How do you feel like you met John? So I kind of want to put you on the spotlight and say, what do you remember in our first meeting or interaction?
I do remember that you were late. And
Yeah.
I remember being excited to meet you because we had been friends on Facebook, and I'd been following some of the things you're doing. And I always love meeting people that are doing really cool things. I'm like, man, he's not going to come. He's just not going to show up. And you walked in like minutes before you went on and stuff like that. And I was helping out a little bit with it. So I remember saying, here, you need to sit here. Your mic's going to be here. You're going to go up there. And you're like, yep, cool. And he was wearing this nice shirt, nice shoes. He was pimped out, ready to go, because we had the judges, right, that were judging us. It was a full on competition. And he just, what I remember about John, my first reaction is that He just came in, he did what he had to do, and he had a smile on his face like the whole time. There wasn't like, oh crap, I'm late. It was like, hey, I'm here. It don't matter. The game can go. We can start. We can play. I'm ready to go. And he did, because it was shortly after that he went up on stage and just killed it. And as memory serves me correctly, and I will say this, John beat me in the speaking competition. Even though he showed up late, I thought he should have been docked points or something for that, but no. No, he did an amazing job. Actually, there wasn't a person on that stage that didn't do an amazing job that day. So it was a really good time.
And I'll add to that, because I know that some of the topic that we'll get into later, but at the Speaking Seriously competition and at the Speaking Seriously events in general, the caliber of people that you bring on stage, not even just a competition. Like when people hear competition, it's like, oh, everyone and their dog sign up and get there and try to do their best, right? But no, this was a vetted process. And I know that you guys helped pick the right people to be on that stage. I know there was, I think, 15 or 19 competitors, including you and myself, and some of our closest friends as well were on that stage. And that was a lot of fun, but everyone on that stage gave it their all and did so well. And I embarrassingly do admit that, yes, I did roll in there. I had no idea what to do, chip on my shoulder, stepped on stage and just do what I normally do. But I agree that if the rules were a little tighter, John should not have made it to the finals because of his dedication to spending time with the feedback sessions that the judges were giving the day before and so forth. But I absolutely enjoyed that experience. But more so than the competition, I remember that event so well because there we learned a ton about the things that speakers are doing. And I think this was super cool. And I think you and I had talked about this before, but there was a discussion in several of the workshops that, and no one outright came out and said, well, what if you can't speak on stage and we have to do a virtual or something? And we had some discussions about, foreseeing what your future might look like, whether you are better off on stage or on webinars or in virtual. And the advice given by you, by Robin, by Julie, and some of the other professionals who spoke on stage was get comfortable with being uncomfortable and get comfortable with trying things like webinars and virtual speaking, because it's a very, very good option for the future. Boom, 2 months later, boom, COVID, boom. And we were like, wow, they warned us, but they didn't know, but they warned us. It was so cool. So
what happened? Yeah. No, and that was completely I remember that too. And I remember thinking, oh man, I don't know if I want to do a virtual something, but here we are in a virtual world. I mean, everything died for about a month and a half, and then people slowly trickle here, trickle there. And now everything's going virtual, and it's starting to pick up and rock too.
It's absolutely baffling and amazing. As a coach, as a speaker, you need to be well versed in the space of virtual speaking, webinars, Zoom meetings, going live on Facebook and going live on various platforms. But before we get into any of that, the most important thing today is you get to hear from one of my good friends, and I can't wait to brag about him. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to Chip. And Chip, tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you came from your story to here and why you're here today, with what you're doing, all that you're involved with. Give us a little bit of history and tell us just some of your biggest highlights.
Okay. It's taken me back, it goes back a long ways. It goes back years. My biggest story is that for a long time, I lived the rut, is what I call it. You know what I mean? You go to work, you do your stuff, you come home, you do your stuff, you go to work, you do your stuff, you get a weekend, you go try to have some fun and do everything like that. It's living a rut, and it's hard. And I got this rut mentality that there was no place else for me to go, nothing else for me to do. And there was a lot of, not like, I don't want to say depression. I don't think I was ever depressed, but I was just blah. You know what I mean? Just blah. There was no excitement, no joy, no nothing. I loved my kids. I loved my family. There was just nothing to it. And my wife and I had a pretty good relationship. And one of my friends, we came together and we started working together, and we did some I got a book from my brother-in-law and started reading it. You know, it's the whole process. All of a sudden you read something, it clicks something, you start making some movement. We decided that we were going to try to put on this, you know, we were in a bad state. If I'm going to be honest, we were in like, you should not even be considering this stage, but we were going to put on a summit. We were going to put on a wellness thing, you know, and come, because we were starting to make movement. And so we started putting it all together, and we reached out to a friend of ours that she was here local. I live in Arizona, and she was here local next to us, and she was doing really awesome stuff. So we reached out to her, and she's like, yeah, come over and sit down and talk for a little bit. Boy, she had us upside down backwards. And I mean, not really, she nailed it like bullseye, called us out on a bunch of junk that was in our life and said, hey, you guys need to go to this seminar. And it was a marriage seminar up in Utah. And it's about a 10-hour trip for us, but we're like, oh, he's like, no, I need to go. Him and his wife were having a little bit of struggle, but wasn't bad. Just like, yeah, we want to work on stuff. And he's like, come with us. And we're like, oh, fine, we'll go. Because we didn't have any relationship problems. So you get there, do the thing, and I'm like, holy crap, why have I been so stupid my whole life?
Yeah.
So that was my first step into the coaching world. I took my first coaching I'd ever really had. And it's one of those you don't know what you don't know kind of things. And I had no clue life could be as good as it is. I had no clue I could like myself. I could like my kids. I could like everybody, including myself. I discovered that I really had no liking for myself for what I did. And so we went through the whole coaching world. I've had multiple coaches since then. I've become a certified life coach myself. I do all these different things. But one of the things that I hated, and I'm just going to put this out there right now, is I hated sales. Mm. I mean, is there anybody out there? I mean, if people are commenting and everything, if you love sales, put like a number 2. If you hated sales, put a number 1 in the comments, because I seriously hated sales. I had done some multi-level marketing things, and I literally had to tell people. I was on a call with somebody, and they weren't coming through, and my coach was sitting, you know, the guy who's supposed to be mentoring you sitting there. And this is back when you had the rotary dial phones. I'm not that old, but it was.
I know those.
And you're calling the phone book, right? That's the old style. No internet, no friends list, just calling phone book. And we were having a good conversation, and they're like, no, we're not interested. I was selling water filters and water filtration systems, and my coach goes over to me. He's like, no, they need to have this. I'm like, okay, you guys really need to have this. He's like, no, you don't understand. You need to tell them that if they do not have this, they are the death of their children. Their children will die prematurely, and this will be the cause of it. And I was young, and I stepped into that, and I did that. I walked away that day and never went back.
Wow.
Okay, because that's just not right. It's wrong in a lot of ways, but to me, it was like, if this is what this is, it's not worth any amount of money for me. And so I walked away, and a couple other bad tastes similar to sales, and I just never wanted to do it. But bringing those stories together now I'm doing my own coaching stuff. I'm doing all these different things. I have to sell my own products. I have to sell myself. And so I got a few coaches, and I went through a few programs, and I did a lot of different self-work and getting rid of the emotions on, and I let that go. But still, the selling was hard. And then I got with Julie Main, Speaking Seriously, and she pulled me aside, and we were doing some coaching stuff, and it was still hard for me, but she's like, dude, you are good at this. I'm like, no. She's like, no, you're good at being you in this. And so she's like, here, we're going to do some more specific things. I want you to come help me. So we put it all together, and I went to one of her events with her, because I had been mentoring with her, and I went to one of her events with her to help her out to do some sales in the backstage while they were doing a whole bunch of stuff up front and running the whole event. I did a lot of the one-on-one meetings, and she got another person who was more experienced in the industry than I was, and put her out there. And we, every other customer we took. And at the end of the day, I'm thinking, okay, well, I did all right. We had some sales and things went good, and we had a lot of great conversations. I really enjoyed it. For the first time in my life, I enjoyed sales. And when the whole thing was over, she's like, holy crap, you killed this. I'm like, what do you mean I killed it? She's like, you outsold the other person who's been doing this for 20 years, like 10-1. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. She's like, you're going to do this for me again. I'm like, okay, I guess so. I'll try. And so we started doing that. And I've done quite a few events for them. And some other people were looking for some stuff. And that's how I got to where I am, because I just love, the truth is, and if you follow me on Facebook, if you go look me up, I just posted a post today. You know how everybody asks you what your why is?
Mm-hmm.
How many times, John, have you been asked, what's your why?
Too many.
Right? You're like, yeah, my why is this. I've never had a why. My why has always been like, I don't know what my why is. Nothing drives me. Nothing pushes me. And my why, literally, this was just this morning. I was talking, and I went for my walk this morning, and I listened to some stuff, and they were talking about, you know, taking your why to the next level. I'm like, you can't take something you don't have to the next level. And so I looked over at my wife, and I was at my desk, and I said, what is my why? And I've asked her lots of times, and she's like, your why is helping people. You like to help people. You like to buy people's dinners. You like to pay for their groceries without them knowing. You like to help them build businesses. Before I got even into this coaching stuff, I'd helped over 13 businesses get startups and stuff just because I like to do it. And she's like, your why is you like to help people. So why I'm here today is because I like to help people. That brings me, and I always thought that wasn't my biggest joy, my biggest why. That's not big enough to be a why. But today when she said it to me, that was my biggest why. That was my biggest joy. That is my biggest thing that I can give to the world, is that I love helping people and I love watching them succeed.
And with that amazing story and that background, how has sales continued to be part of that journey? Because you love helping people, and naturally you understand that other people are telling you, like Julie May and several other awesome people, they say, you're good at this. You're you in this. You're so good at this naturally. How does that sales aspect still come into play with everything that you're doing now with that why?
So with that why and everything that I'm doing now, I joined forces with Julie May, and we saw a need. It's a huge need out there in the coaching industry and just industry in general, that there's so many amazing people that have amazing products, that go to shows, that go to and talk, and they do well upstage, but they kind of fail in the background doing the sales part. You know, I don't know how many of you have ever done this, but have you taken your product and you decided to price it and you set it in the mirror and you're like, and my price is $19.95. And you just can't get past the sales part of it. You don't like that piece of it, but you know your product's good and you're an amazing instructor. We just saw a lot of need for that. And she's like, you're really good at this. And every time I went to an event, she's like, no, you're good at this. We need to do this more. And we kicked it around a little bit. And literally, John, I mean, like 4 days before COVID hit, we decided that we were going to join up. That's why I have the Speaking Seriously thing behind me. Speaking Seriously is the parent company, and Selling Seriously is the division that I run for Julie May. And we do so many things in Selling Seriously. We train people on how to do their own sales. We help other people do their sales for them. Meaning, if you have a good product, but that's hard for you to do, we will do it for you. And it's all commission based. So if we don't do good, if you don't do good, we don't do good. But what I found is I get to help build people's business through sales. I help them become the entrepreneur that they need in a way that maybe they couldn't do, but we can fill that little back capital. Even if they're good at it. For example, I was just talking with somebody the other day. She's closing personally on herself about 80% of all phone calls she gets. Wow. It's amazing, right? And I've coached with her. We went through some of the same training programs, and she is just killing it. But you know what happens is her programs are so amazing. She's creating so much. She doesn't have time for the sales part. It's really, you know, do a program, talk to my group of people, stop and set up half-hour phone calls in between the next one and start it, and there's no creation time. So we allow people even like that to be able to take that over with integrity, using their programs, their scripts, and selling the way we know how to sell. And so that they can continue creating and continue being powerful people in their industry, and we become part of their team, and make it so that it's so much easier. Just imagine, just sit there for a minute. Imagine if all you coaches out there, people out there, imagine if you didn't have to worry about all those sales calls that are coming in this week. How much more you could create, and you knew that they're going to be taken care of, and you knew that you were going to have continued revenue, and you knew that they weren't going to go above and beyond what you needed in personnel, because nobody wants 27 to 40 personal coaching things a week. We set all those limits up so that you know that you're getting the people you want and need, and then you get to create and coach. And I get to help people touch millions of lives.
Man, and going back to your why, it's so cool, because not many people, one, figure out who they are. Two, not many people understand who they are and what they should be doing. And three, not many people get to put what they should be doing to action. And I want my audience to hear this, because this is really important, whether you're a speaker or a coach or someone who sells something. And I would argue that we're always selling. And I would say that we're always selling something, whether it be good or bad or something. So in case, I want them to know that this is a really, really fun discussion and topic to have with Chip, because they get to do what they love to do and are passionate about and are backed by, because it's their purpose, their mission, their why, get to help you and get to help millions of others close sales and do what the world needs most of, which is more coaches, more speakers, more people who can motivate, inspire, and change the world by force. And I think that that's just such an amazing thing that you guys are doing. And what a cool division, speaking seriously now as a subdivision, you guys get to do closing or selling seriously, which is amazing. And I've heard of companies and call centers, and that you can hire a bunch of people in India or the Philippines, right, to close sales. And there's a difference, right? There's a difference. There's just having the manual labor and getting, above average statistic, which is like 12 to 15%. And everyone plays the numbers game in sales. But whereas you trade off with a team of people like Chip and incredible salespersons who love to help people get what they deserve. You love to help people close and find ways to change the world by force. And I think there's something to that. It's just so magical and so beautiful that I think a lot of people and my audience need to know and realize is that there are people out there who have the strengths that you lack. And so instead of trying to develop the strengths that you lack, which is always good, you're never going to go wrong, but why not delve into people who are going to do it incredibly for you, right?
Right. I mean, I love the fact that I get to take people through it, and they never have been through this. And here's a little piece of advice and encouragement too, is when I sit down and talk with a client, I ask them, we go through a whole bunch of, what's this, what's that, what's this look like? And I say, what is your sales ladder? And I don't know how much of your audience knows what their sales ladder is. It's like, you start with your freemium, and then you have your introductory price, and then you have your group sales, and then you have your personal sales or your event sales, whatever all those different groups are. Because when I'm on a call with somebody and you have multiple ladders that I could possibly put somebody in, we're going to try to put them in something that fits best for them at this time. Right. They may only be ready right now for your Facebook group. They're not ready to take on your group stuff. They've never done any personal. It just depends on what your programs are. But I can't tell you how many times I've helped people understand what a value ladder is and how important it is. And all of a sudden it clicks. They're like, oh, so you're saying that in this interview process, when you do this 30-minute phone call with them, I have these 5 different products. You're going to decide which spot they need to be in, which works best for them, for me. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to stick them in there for you. And we're going to help you decide that that's where they need to start at. And based off of what the information you give me and the avatar you've created for that sales product. If this person won't, he made a call in, but it's for personal coaching, he's not ready for that. We're gonna try to put him into a better product for him. And you know, there's another part that's a powerful no that's really, really hard for coaches and creators of programs to say no to people. You know, we put all this money and effort out there, and you've put all this time into this program, and somebody's kind of interested, and you kind of think, oh, I don't want to really work with this person, but I really want people in my program. And so you kind of let them in the program, and then you regret it the whole time after that.
Yeah.
We're okay saying no to that person and putting them in just, hey, just follow us on Facebook for a little bit. But it's a positive experience for them. So when they walk away, they're like, dang, that was good. I liked them. They actually told me I wasn't ready for this and gave me some other steps to take to get ready for this. When I'm ready, I'm going back to them. There's so much power in no, and there's so many different things in that. That's what we create for you, is that opportunity to have those people that you want in your program. So it makes your whole program better. Because we all know there's always, and we can't do 100% on that, but we will do the best we can to not have people in your program that just don't want to be there.
Right.
It just makes it hard.
I think there's something super important and key to that, because a lot of us, well, let me take this to the example of the average person. Okay, I'm a coach. I teach people on health and wellness through mindset development and general nutritional practices. And then I get to the piece where I need to do sales. And I think that, you know, because I'm not really a strong seller, I'm gonna try to create some content and online marketing so that I can kind of pass that stress of selling or the impersonableness onto an automated system, right? And they're gonna try and create something that kind of takes the responsibility of the sale and puts it somewhere else, so that when that thing doesn't work or doesn't produce, I can blame it on something else. And I know that a lot of people they'll go to, I mean, I've read dozens of books on sales. You can see a bunch over my shoulder right now, but I've read so many books on sales, and I have so many stories about those books. But at the end of the day, would you rather read a book and try to do what you read, or would you rather work with somebody who's going to help you and who's going to love the process and he's going to coach you through it and is going to make you and the people better, whether you say yes or no to that client? And I love the power of saying no, because that gives you power to turn people away and say, no, you're not ready for what I have to offer, or you're not maybe the best fit for what we're trying to create outcomes for. And I love that principle, Chip. I love that, because the average person is going to go read a dozen books on sales and try to figure it out themselves. And then they end up doing the exact same thing they did before, which is find ways to passively sell. And that's never the best case. But when you have people who are passionate and who love it and are always going to find the best case scenario for you, like what you guys do, then it's a no-brainer. It's like having a coach, but more than a coach that gets you paid. And I always say this, like, you know, why go to networking events? You waste time and money. Go to things that are actually going to bring you results, like mastermind groups or intensives or retreats or some of these speaking seriously events and so forth. So actually do things that are going to bring you results rather than spinning your wheels and do nothing. Because that's what we all tend to do. We feel like busy work is good work, but at the end of the day, we're still not getting paid. So I wanted to make that mention, because there are some degrees to this. I have a sales book right on my desk right here. I've got The Secret of Selling Anything. And while I'm reading that, I'm like, great, but I need to have conversations and I need to work with people who are actually, hey, hustle. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Secret to the Sketch and .com. I mean, they're all here.
Yeah.
You know,
but at the end of the day, it's all about working with the right people. And when it's the right people who are going to guide you, help you, encourage you, motivate you, but also give you the best outcome, no-brainer. Absolutely no-brainer. I will throw those books in a fireplace if that was the comparison right there.
And I love that. I'd like to give your audience something. Can I give them something?
Oh,
I'm going to give them a mindset switch. Yes. I'm going to take you guys, whether you want to hire me or not. I want people to understand a couple things, because it'll make your life easier. So there's a lot of us that are coaches out there, and you know, how many of you have created a program before? I mean, literally create. I mean, it's like you're giving birth to this program, right? You go through all the talking points. You talk to all your friends. You talk to everybody. You're like, this is so needed. You go through. You do your PowerPoint presentation. You do your filming presentation. You have this presentation that you weeks, days, months. It doesn't matter how long it's taken. Years, some cases, to develop this program. And you are I call it you are the creator of the program. And then you go out to sell this amazing program that you put. And when somebody says, well, what's your program about? You just go like this, blah! I'm going to give you every little, it's this and it's that and it's this and it's that and it has this. And on day 2, you're going to do this, and then you'll have homework of this and that and this and this and that and this, and it's going to make you do this and this and this and that and this and this and this and that. And the people that you're talking to are just like this, like, I'm not ready for that. Because you have an intimate knowledge of the entire thing, right? And it works sometimes. There's going to be some people that be like, yes, that's what I want. I love that. And that's okay. But the majority of your people are going to be like, I don't get it. It's too much for me to try to handle, process. And so what we need to do is we need to take ourselves from that creator mindset, and we need to make a shift when we talk to people about our product. And we need to become what I call the consumer mindset. Okay? What is a consumer mindset? That means you bought the product and you've done it. And I have an example. Do we got time for my example, John?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Because this is going to be shameless a little bit, okay?
I love it. Bring it on.
All right. So consumer mindset means that you've bought a product. And have you guys ever told somebody about a product you bought and how simple it is? You don't go into lots of depth. You don't go into a lot of how it was manufactured, where it was made, maybe a little bit where it's made. Some people like America versus China. That's okay, but it's very simple. So here, about 3 weeks ago, John, how many white shirts do you own?
I own 3.
You're going to own a couple more, okay? I just tell you, when I'm done with this, you're going to be like, what the heck? This company is called And Collar.
And Collar.
And Collar, all right? And I ordered it online, and I was never sure about online purchases, and I got this shirt, and I was like, it is better than advertised. So And Collar advertises. It's a really cool thing. What they do, it's a company out of Salt Lake. They take water bottles, and they make it into fabric. It's kind of like a rayon, but they recycle water bottles and make it into fabric. It's stain resistant. It's stretchy. Watch this. It's stretchy. You know, you tuck it in, it doesn't come untucked. It stays tucked. Take a nap in this shirt, who cares? It's wrinkle-free, and it's comfortable. The most comfortable shirt I've ever had. And I'm going to guess that some of you out there, and these are just little things, right? Some of you out there love a French cuff. Who loves a French cuff?
Oh, yeah.
I figured you would probably be a French cuff, right? See, got buttons on here. Can you see the buttons? But it also has this hole in the middle, so you can put your stuff in it and wear it like a French cuff.
No.
You could do either or, all right? And it's stain resistant, wrinkle resistant, comfortable as all get out. And who sold on this shirt? Just because I bought this shirt and I loved it. That's how you have to sell your program. We did not go into how it was made. I just said it was made out of water bottles. If you're the creator, you go into, and it's this process of extraculating the water bottles, and you can go in and to read it all, but all you want to give them is how exciting it is, what it changes, and how it makes a difference in their lives. And then once they get those very high basic things, once they're ready to go forward, once they get into the program, then you can get more specific with them. But you have to move into that consumer. You have to be a consumer of your own product. You have to either test people through it or whatever, but you have to get and see the results, even if it's yourself. Like, most people create a product because they've made changes in their lives. So take those results and sell the results, because that's a consumer mindset. You've created this thing. Now let other people enjoy it, not overwhelmed by it.
I absolutely love that shameless plug-in example. That was awesome. And from one coach to another, from one sales guy to another, I just started dissecting every bit of piece. And what Chip just did there, you guys, you missed a lot if you didn't catch all the little little skills and the little things that go into this, but it is exactly like referring a great shirt or a great product or a great restaurant, right? It's the exact same thing. And one of the things that I love that Chip did in the beginning of this is he asked me, he said, how many white shirts do you have? And I said, I have 3. He's like, well, you're about to have more. He put it in my mouth that there are no other options, John. You are going to get this recycled plastic water bottle. I mean, we could have gone into that. And when you said that, that blew me away, but that wasn't the key. That wasn't the manufacturing of it that got me. It was, look, it's stretch, it's comfortable, it's the most incredible looking shirt, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, stop, go back to that part where you said you're going to own 3 more because this is such a great shirt, because that was the piece. And I love that because it's the exact same thing to referability, right? To the way you would refer something that you're passionate about, something you like, instead of going into the manufactured process. And I've actually been guilty of this, Chip. I'll be totally vulnerable with everyone on my show. In some of the networking associations that I'm in charge of and run, I get so passionate about the science, right? The things that went into the data that created the environment that we project. No one cares about that. No one wants to know that I've collected data from thousands of individuals. When you say it that way, it almost sounds like I put them in testing tubes.
You're a creepy stalker.
I'm a creepy stalker doctor, right? I'm watching you, and the truth is I am, but from a distance, right? I people watching and observing, but I absolutely love the way you did that. And as I kind of, if we could play the recording back, right? One of the best things he did was he had in my mind was me loving it and already considering buying it. And it had nothing to do with, will you go and get this? Or can you get your credit card out now? It had nothing to do with that. And there was no fear behind it. It was, oh man, you have got to get one of these. This is amazing. And I love that. And I've learned that from so many other people too, in the sales industry. And there's something so unique about that principle, which is the referability, the love, the passion, the excitement behind it. And that's what people care about. So I love that you highlighted that.
Yeah. Well, and just another example real quick, and I can do without a thing. We've talked a little bit about Speaking Seriously. I have a shameless plug back here, right? Speaking Seriously. I'm a consumer of Speaking Seriously, meaning I went through a course with them. Julie May, she's an amazing person. She is the most loving, kind, critical person you'll ever meet, meaning that she can criticize you and you feel loved afterwards, but it moves you to be better. And I'm speaking again from a customer standpoint, and I sell a lot of products for her. So understand that, because when I say that this is one of the best speaking classes out there, I'm not joking. I've seen some, I've been to some other ones, but what I got out of it was so much. She has just opened up another speaking class. She's only doing one of them this year. And she's got a few spots left in there. And if you wanted to extend your career, your speaking career, if you wanted to see what you're doing wrong, why aren't people buying the stuff when you're on stage, how you need to say what you need to say through the whole process, that's a program that you need to invest in. You can look up at Speaking Seriously on Facebook or in the other things, and you'll find those programs. And this is another shameless plug, but I want you to understand and listen to what I just said. I'm very intimately involved with their programs, and I can tell you all the research that they can have. I could tell you that they've had 60% of all, on closes on stage, they get up to 60% or better. They do all these other things, but you didn't need to hear that. What you needed to hear was it from me that it was a really good program, that it changed my life, that it made me speaker. It actually brought me to where I am right now and what I'm doing in my life right now was that program. Could it change your life? Yes, it could definitely change your life. If you have something you need to get out on stage and speak about and talk about, you need to do it in a proper way so people listen. Because a lot of us don't understand that. And so that's what we need to do, is we need to make sure that when we're selling our product, we're selling what people want and need to listen to, because your product is so important that it needs to get into people's hands. And if you overdo it, if you oversell it, if you push it too hard, you're going to lose those great people. But if you can take a step back out of the creator mindset, and if nothing else you get from this today is that step out of a creator, step into a consumer, look at what your product would be like as a consumer, and then sell it from that point of view, you're going to have movement in your numbers immediately, just in the conversations you have.
I absolutely love that. And you feel that too. You feel that in the testimonial you just gave. And I love the mindset of the consumer. That's just a phenomenal, fantastic way to help other people. And I will admit, and I will share that I am also a consumer of Speaking Seriously. I've been to several of their events, also receiving some coaching and consulting on the side as well. And as my experience goes, I too have learned and have felt that incredible love and passion for coaching and speaking that Julie and her partners have all shared, including Chip. And what they have done for me is they've taken out the fear of having to make a living by being the only person who can compete at the top and with the best speakers and doing so, but you can make a living doing some of the greatest things that you love and cherish by getting other people excited about it. And I've learned that. I've been to a lot of your events, and they blow me away every time. I walk away, whether I show up late, which I do, or I'm there for the whole time. Even just being in the room for a minute, there's so much value and so much excitement. And the people who you're surrounded by aren't just a bunch of people who are beginning or getting started in their career. These are people that are as excited and as genuinely concerned about the welfare and the well-being of humans as most coaches and speakers are. And these are incredible people who you surround yourself with. The environment is awesome. The food, always amazing. The energy, always high. The incredible atmosphere, and of course, the content is effervescent. It's incredible, and it leads you to success. And I love all of that, and I'm a fan. Fangirling all the way over here in Salt Lake City.
Nice. But and to bring it back to a point a little bit on that and to what we do, I'm just going to bring it back. You ready? Here it comes right back. And I love that it's okay to tell people you're going to do something. Yeah. I was always afraid, like, oh, keep it secret. What? No, just tell them. I'm bringing it back. You ready? Because then they feel comfortable. Like, everybody feels comfortable. Like, oh, he's taking it back now. Okay, what's he taking it back to? In these teaching environments, in these selling environments, I'm going to tell you what we do for you. Because these are Speaking Seriously does a lot of speakers, and we do the back of the room. Like, you get on stage, you say, hey, are you interested in that? And everybody raises their hand, like, meet me in the back of the room. And then you got to run back there, or you have somebody back there. We're willing to be back there for you. But here's the beautiful part of what we do. I've done quite a few events for Julie. And when I first started, people I talked to the first time didn't buy. But they came to the next event. Still weren't quite ready. They came to the third event. They buy the high ticket package because they were ready. They were trustworthy. But we didn't push so hard that they didn't even want to talk to us anymore. And a lot of us do that. We push people so hard that they're like, you know what? I'm done with John. I can't talk with him anymore. I just look at him and I feel embarrassed because I had to say no. We were in, COVID and all this stuff was happening and I can't do it. No, we want you to leave with a loving opportunity to come back and share more with us later. And we have a huge turnaround on customers coming back because we told them no, or because it wasn't able to work out right now. But that's okay, because you know what? We're still friends. It becomes less of a sell and more of a, networking opportunity. You like how I tied both of our things together there, John?
I loved it.
It comes less as a sell, more of a networking opportunity that both parties can grow. And that's what we do at Selling Seriously. That's what we do at Speaking Seriously. That's what John does at all of his events. It's all about making connections, keeping connections, and making them that they may not be valuable today, but every connection will be valuable someday.
I totally agree with that, and I wish I could pull out the trumpets from heaven and just start boo, 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 because that is what it's all about, and that is the language we speak, because at the end of the day, connections and relationships are why we buy, and they're exactly why we sell too. That should never be the change. That should never be the exception. I'm going to bring it back now, bringing it back full circle, doing the bringing it back dance. Bringing it back. So as we covered the topic and your golden nugget of knowledge that you shared with us had a lot to do with shifting the mindset, right? From the mindset, from better selling programs to trusting people and to have the right mindset when you go into it. What do you think is a really great challenge that we could issue to my listeners today? Something that we can challenge them to do and to take one step towards the next step, which is selling better, selling seriously, and being really good at it. What's a challenge that we could issue my listeners?
Challenge we could issue your listeners is, the best way to do this is to become comfortable with yourself. Because here's the truth about sales. If you go at it and you're fake, if you put on that mask and that persona that, oh, I'm the sales guy today, people see it. They always see the mask. Whether they recognize it or not, they always see the mask. So here's what you got to try to do. You've got to try to become you in yourself. So remember that. Become you in yourself. There's a lot of different ways to do that. First off is you have to become comfortable and know that you have value. Understand that you have value. Do your declarations, do your things, but build it towards a value added, that you add value. Personally, you add value to everything that you say and do. Second thing is practice in a mirror. If you can't convince you of something, you can't convince somebody else of something either. If you look at it and you're like, yes, and this is, I can't do this. You need to practice. You need to become sufficient and proficient at saying what you want to say. You need to be able to say what's needed to be said, because your product has value. The end of it has value. Now you have to believe in your own value and that it's worth selling that to. Because if you can't work on your own value, if you can't understand your own value, nobody else will believe your value is either. They won't believe your programs. They won't believe what you're doing. They won't believe in, it's amazing to me. I watch people who have amazing programs and they do amazing things, but they feel like, oh, I'm stealing from these guys and telling them that it's a $3,000 program. You've put years of your life into this program. It's definitely worth what it's worth. And if you feel like it's worth $3,000, step up the plate and swing the bat. Don't be shy. Don't worry whether you hit a home run or you hit it or you nick it or you bump it. Doesn't matter. Step up to the plate and swing the bat. And that's what you got to do with sales. Just step up to the plate and practice swinging the bat. You're not going to get good at it until you do it.
I am boiling with so much excitement and enthusiasm. I loved that analogy. Step up to the bat. Chip, this is so awesome. So good. By the way, throughout the course of this past hour, we've had a few people jump in and say hello. We've got Brian Springer on the line. We got my friend Tyson Coons, my friend Annalou Villarde. Jason Curtis was in the house. He said hello too. There were no particular questions to ask you, but I wanted to ask you, how can my listeners get a hold of you? How can they reach you? And more importantly, to learn more about these programs, how could they get on a call with you?
So the easiest way to get on a call with me is most of you have Facebook. I'm at Selling Seriously on Facebook. If you go onto that page, there's a button, click, and you can set up an appointment with me. It's ready to go. We can set up a 30-minute call, see how that works, see what you're looking for. You can message me directly. I usually take most of my friend requests. I'm getting kind of full, but I still have quite a bit of room. Go ahead and message me directly, or you can go to my webpage, but it just takes you to my Facebook page. It's so there's just those ways are good ways. That is the easiest way to get a hold of me and set up a time to talk with me, is just that Facebook link and book a time, and we'll set it up and get on a call and talk to you, because you don't know what you don't know. And if you have questions, if it's just, hey, I just have questions, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we can help each other. That's what I like to do.
That is Chip's why. He's there to help. He's an incredible helper. I absolutely love that. And all of the scheduling links and links that you just mentioned, I'll put it in the show notes. So those listening to the playback on this, you can find out how to reach Chip in the show notes of this post. If you're watching this live today, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just check it out, and anywhere you can find the show notes or just information or the comments section about this, you'll see it there. And as a result of all of this discussion and all that we've done today, first of all, I need to give gratitude and say, Chip, thank you for issuing that challenge to our listeners. And thank you for offering up your time. I know your time is strapped and you're extremely busy. And with all the people that you're currently helping, you still make time for others. And I want to put my hands down and give you a giant power clap. Because I think that's how we that's how we celebrate incredible people who love to help other people. And so I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this experience and our friendship, of course. And I always tell our speakers or those who come on our show, you do not have to give away a gift, or you do not have to give away an offer, but you're more than welcome to on my show. And I wanted to kind of pass the microphone over to you and say, is there something you'd like to give my audience? And there is no pressure to do so. But I do know that there was something you would like to give away.
So I actually saved this just for your show. You ready? Because we've just finished up we're about halfway, 2/3 through our first major training pilot class of Selling Seriously. And it's the Selling Seriously pilot, which takes you through the mindsets, takes you through enrollment calls, takes you through back to stage, just all the different sales, all the different parts that you have to play as that creator, right? Because if you're going to do your sales yourself, you need to know all these parts. Even if you're going to hire somebody else to do it, it's awesome to know what they're going to need and what you have to have ready for them to make it a really good sales. So we have a class going right now. It's almost done. I have some amazing videos coming out right now. But the next class, it's $16.97 for this. It's a 4-week class. It's all on Zoom. You get a personal web Facebook page. You get all these different things where we can ask questions and do a lot of things. We have books that we have you reading that is just blowing people's minds. If you've read them, it's okay, but we put it in course with this training thing. Today only, and only if you, what did I tell you? If you reference this podcast, starting in August, we're going to, at the end of August, we're going to have this next class start running. You get $200 off of that class. Just for referencing this podcast, you're going to get $200 off that class. And that it's the value that you're going to get out of that class it's so amazing. It's so powerful. And we share in groups, and we have different things happening, and we interactions, and we practice your enrollments. We practice those things that we just talked about, the challenge, like talking to people in front of it. We get past some of the mindsets and some of the barriers and blocks that we have, and it just makes you a better person. Because like John said earlier, everything we do is sales. Every relationship, every connection, every comment we have, we're just selling something. So
well, first of all, I'm grateful. That's an incredible offer to my listeners to save $200 today on a really, really incredible class where you're going to basically walk away with all of the things that we talked about over the last hour, plus some and plus more, and more information and more skills and knowledge and practice. That's the one thing that we all fail at, right? Because we didn't practice. And you were talking about this earlier, is get in front of the mirror, right? Well, this is a chance for you to practice in class with other people and get feedback and know exactly what you need to do to up-level your life, your lifestyle, your experience, your closing ratios, the success that you're having as a coach and a speaker. And you can do it through the Selling Seriously course. So that's amazing. Thank you. What an incredible offer. I'll make sure that I put that in the show notes today too.
Awesome.
So that if you're catching it in the rerun, you only have 24 hours to make this decision. And the way that you do that is you contact Chip, which is also in the reference below. And you use just Circle of Knowledge, or you can just say John Kovacs too. That works fine. One of the podcast is also working, but just mention that and you will receive $200 off that course starting in August, right?
Starting at the end of August. It'll be at the end of August. Yep. So
plenty of time to prepare and get ready, and then also to plan for your sales. Let's call it the sales extraordinaire that you will have towards the end of this year. What a fun year it's been, and what a crazy year it's been. But why not finish the year on a high instead of do what everyone does every year, and that's finish on a low, right? You're exhausted,
right.
Move in. Let's finish this year on a high.
let's finish this and let's start next year and even higher and go higher from there. That's our goal, is to help people realize their dreams. And man, that makes me happy.
Well, it makes me too. It makes me happy too. And I know that you said that seats are limited, so I'm going to make sure I get in on that, as well as save a spot or two for some of my listeners. But please, guys, race me to it. Let's get in on this. And that's so fantastic. Chip, thank you for your time today, and thanks you for your patience and flexibility with myself. But this has been an honor and a privilege to highlight you and to hear about your story, your background, and your mission and your why. Because at the end of the day, I can take, reading the wind here, I'm going to guess that the majority, like 80% or more of people listening on this show today know exactly how it feels to not be good at sales, or to not have had the confidence to sell, or to have the right people give them the training and the coaching to sell. And a lot of the people too are in similar scenarios that you shared in your story, which is you're probably selling something and you're probably hating it because you're not doing it right, or you're not doing it for the right reasons. And I want people to know that if you have a program, if you're selling from stage, if you're doing anything in that regard and you have anything to sell, this is a really, really great opportunity. So I hope that my listeners get to know you, Chip, and I hope that we can send some people your way, but also just know that they're in good hands, because all you got to do is ask some questions and learn the answers, right? And that's what they get from you.
That's life. That's right. Ask some questions, let's get some answers. No matter any phone call we have, it'll be a good phone call.
And I can attest to that. Every time I get on the phone call with Chip, I'm like, dude, we have to hang up. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. You go on.
I think we really did. I was like, no, we got to go to a call. I got another call. Okay, bye.
Exactly. Okay, bye. All right, talk later. Well, seriously though, Chip, thank you so much for joining me today. And this has been an awesome hour of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Thank you for edifying and educating my listeners. And thank you for being such an incredible resource for them.
Not a problem. Thank you for being a resource for me too. I appreciate that you've put this together and that you've built this amazing opportunity for other people. So thank you.
Thank you.